Important forum, and always a pleasure to have with us Dr. Hesham Ashmawy, who is the chairman of the Egyptian American Business Council. Dr. Ashmawy, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Starting off, since we're talking business more, so how was the forum a venue that is going to bring closer the Muslim nations on the path of economic integration, in your opinion?
Before we move into the business, and what can we ask this convention, how can we really create business or help business or put the Muslims on the right track? We have to understand that this is the second World Association under the United Nations, the second after the United Nations, that we are not taking the maximum or actually the minimum that we can move the Muslim peoples all over the world with the world. So it's very important to understand Muslims does not need more Muslims. Muslims needs to be effective part in the world.
Exposure.
Exactly, to help themselves first and the world. So how would we help ourselves? How many starving countries do we have out of those countries who are here today? How many extremely rich countries? How many overpopulated countries? All these facts, I don't want to go back to the old regime when Mubarak, for example, used to say, you became 80 million, where would I bring you food? This 80 or became 90 or 85 million, it's a big asset. We should learn from China. We should learn from United States. We should learn from Europe. We should learn from the European Union. Not that they are better than us, but they have more experience or more successful experience. So let's really focus what I wanted from this organization, the great organization, the great population of the Muslims, is how to behave worldwide into the right track and how to act to feed their own people first, and then to move to the science second, and then to have enough of everything which God gave them, gave us. Do we have enough oil? Yes, we do. Do we have enough people? Yes. Are we 1/3 of the world? Yes, we are in population. Do we need what? We need to get together and put system for those countries who are suffering from not enough food, not enough knowledge, not enough education, not enough behavior proper, including the Middle East, and share all these benefits that we were gifted. It was given to us by God. We did not really create it. The desert that we have here, the Red Sea, the Mediterranean, like I always say, the River Nile, the monuments, the size of Egypt, for example, that it's we are using only 6%. So time has come that we should really team up. I'm not saying to sell land. I'm not saying to give away land. I'm saying to share. I'm always taking the Chinese experience, and Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam asked for education even in China. So if we take China, for example, when they didn't know what to do with Hong Kong, they gave it as a lease to England for a period of time. It became the most successful duty-free city in the world.
Right.
And after the lease is over, United Kingdom, England, handed back Hong Kong to China. But still, they build on that.
Yeah. How did we build on what has been achieved? I mean, in the OIC summit, Dr. Ashmawy, you were talking about the sense of togetherness and building up a system, which is a very important word. If you need to reach an objective, you should put down planning and a system. How are they going to work on a system to put in this togetherness in the highlights?
I'll ask us and the people, the watchers, 2 questions that they have the answers. When we had the problem with Libya, the Spring Arab, the Arab Spring in Libya, what did happen? The NATO moved in, and they finalized the thing by getting rid of Gaddafi in few months. All right, why? They had oil. What's happening in Syria? What did they do about it? What did we do as Muslims to protect the Syrians or the system in Syria or do this? So we're talking about at the end, who has the money, who has the power? So it's time has come to talk about people, not really the oil, not the gold, not the shares, not the sterling, not the dollars. Time has come that those Muslims associations, which are very important to the world, to talk about human. The most important gift that God gave us is a human being.
Yeah.
Are we protecting our Muslims all over, or their neighbors, or the other thing? What Muhammad alayhi salam, he said also, religion is a relation. How do I deal with the other? How is my relation with my neighbor? How's my relation with the Coptic? How's my relation with the Jews, which they're all believers? Right. How many Egyptian and how many Muslims in the world, they think all the Jews are Israelis, which is not true.
Right.
How many, they don't separate religion, different than politics, different than the work. We have really to think about the human being first, and then religion second, and then politics third, and then how to protect the human person, to give him the minimum decent life in order for him to think, to appreciate his brain, to communicate with his brain, because this is the most important thing we should focus on, which we are not. So instead of really focusing, we should solve the problem of Syria, we should solve the problem of Palestine. How? Did you give us exactly solution to say we can do plan A, B, C, and move on? Or we just said, let's solve the problems. Thank you very much, we'll meet, Oghlu will change, we'll have another Saudi guy, will take care of it, and that's it. And we made the summit. We need results. More important than the results, follow up. Did we come in this summit and we said in the last summit we decided 1, 2, 3. Did we accomplish this? We haven't. Because we decide, we sign notes, we announce, very successful, thank you, goodbye. And we wait until the next summit, which a year or 6 months from now. And then we think about another solution. Maybe God will solve the Syrian problem. Maybe God will solve the Palestinian problem. And of course, no miracles anymore in this time of the world. So we really have to understand how to become doer. We should learn from the whole world, the people who has experience. How can we protect the Muslims? How can we give them a better life? And how can we ask them to deal with the 2/3 of the world, which we are not aware how to deal with them proper, in order really one day the Muslims should lead the world, not lead in population, lead in quality of thinking.
Leading in quality, and you talked also, Dr. Ashmawy, about a sense of a mechanism and a follow-up on what should have been achieved. What are the highlights that you think that the OIC summit in Cairo this time you mark as some sort of an achievement concerning certain files rather than mere rhetoric?
Well, we have really to think positive. At least they are aware, which is very important, that there is a really serious problem in Syria. They're aware that there's a serious problem in Palestine, in Mali. So they are aware of this. But now, how can we really work it out? These are the people who has experience. I'm not talking about association now. Maybe they are too big, or they are not focusing, or they have too much ego to ask. So let's really volunteer, and I know that maybe this is not suitable for them, to say, well, we are recommending to do this solution, if we are not asked. When I say we, the people in the world, the Muslims in the world, in Europe, in the United States, in China, in Japan, in South America, we have really to think how really to solve the major problems by realistic solution.
Right.
Instead of really thinking, yes, we do have a problem. We do have a problem of the economy in Egypt. We do have a problem in the economy of some of the Muslims countries. We do have a problem that most of the countries in the Middle East would like to live democracy without learning about democracy.
What are the main challenges, from your opinion, from the opinion of an expert in the business world, that really hamper economic integration among the Muslim countries?
Borders. If we really destroy borders, if we get the Middle East, we have 300 million manpower in the Middle East. What is our problem today with Saudi Arabia? Not the Hajj, not the people to go for Hajj, not the people to go to work there. No, but Saudi Arabia, for example, or Qatar or Kuwait, most of these Arab countries, they are missing the quality of reasonable workers. In Egypt, we have good workers, but they need to be trained to fit, to suit the need in the labor market.
Right.
In Saudi Arabia, in the Gulf, they do need this. What do we need in Egypt? We need really more wheat. We need better cotton that we used to produce. So we need Sudan. So we need really to cut. But if we produce the cotton in Sudan because they have more water in the Nile, more suitable land, how can we transport this? So if we have really the border cut off and any one Egyptian or foreigner can buy from Egypt, the Egyptian cotton grow up in Sudan, so we're cutting the barrier. So we have really to understand, if we're having a Muslim world, again, the most popular song in the United States, in Disneyland for the kids, it's a small world after all. So we have to take it from the kids and learn as grown-up that this world became a small world after all. But this small world, I cannot wait 6 months or 2 months to have a visa to go from here to Saudi Arabia or to Kuwait or to Dubai or to someone to sponsor me, some Saudi, with all my respect to them, sponsor an Egyptian to go and sell him the product while the Saudi needs the product.
Right. Concerning visas, and since you're talking about visas, Dr. Ashmawy.
Visa card or visa to enter the country?
Entry visas to the different countries. The Iranian President, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, was here. He said that he is going to let Egyptians in without visas.